Sometimes, life whispers a pain that no one else can hear. An invisible thorn stuck in your soul. It's that feeling of emptiness that arrives unannounced on a quiet night. The weight of a worry that steals your breath. The echo of a word that hurt you. Or the fear of what's to come. We've all been there. In that corner of the mind, where suffering seems like the only possible reality. But what if I told you that much of that pain isn't real? That it's not inevitable? That it's a ghost you can chase away? Imagine your mind is a garden. Right now, it might be full of weeds, thorns, and shadows. Stoicism isn't a manual for yanking out those weeds all at once. It's a guide for learning how to plant flowers that grow stronger than any weed. It's a voice that teaches you to cultivate inner peace, even when the storm is raging outside. It's not a philosophy of dusty books, but a living, pulsating wisdom that has helped men and women for 2,000 years to walk through life with serenity and strength. I want you to come closer, to let me be that friendly voice guiding you. I don't promise you a life without problems, because that's impossible. I promise you a mind that can face any problem without breaking. I offer you a path to stop suffering unnecessarily. Today, we're going to unearth 20 Stoic principles, 20 seeds of wisdom that, if you plant them in the garden of your mind, will ensure you never again feel at the mercy of the world. So take a deep breath, close your eyes if you need to, and listen to me. This is for you. 1. The dichotomy of control. What is yours and what is not? This is the first and greatest of all principles, the root of all serenity. Imagine a circle. Inside that circle, there is you, your mind, your thoughts, your judgments, your decisions, your way of acting. That is the only thing you can truly control. Everything outside that circle, the weather, other people's opinions, traffic, the economy, what your children do, your boss's decisions, the past is beyond your control. Most of our suffering comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. We get angry because it rains on our day off. We feel hurt because someone said something we didn't like. We despair over an outcome that doesn't depend on us alone. Do you see the pattern? We are fighting against the current. Releasing the weight of the uncontrollable is the most radical and powerful act you can do for your peace. Close your eyes and visualize that circle. Outside, there is a hurricane of events and people. You can't calm the hurricane, but you can choose how you position yourself against it. You can choose whether to be swept away by its winds, or to anchor yourself in the certainty of your own mind. Your energy is not infinite. Stop wasting it on what's beyond your reach, and save it for the only thing you can change. You accept what you cannot change, and change what you cannot accept in yourself. Think of it this way. If you get angry about a traffic jam, are you really angry at the cars? No. You're angry at your inability to accept that the jam is not under your control. You're spending your precious mental energy on a battle you've already lost. By recognizing that the traffic jam is an external event, you can choose your response, listen to a podcast, practice patience, or simply breathe. Freedom lies in that choice. You stop being a puppet of circumstances and become the director of your own mind. Stoicism doesn't ask you to be indifferent to things, but to be selective. It asks you to reserve your attention and effort for what you can influence. Your judgment about the traffic jam, your reaction to criticism, your effort at work, your kindness to others, that is yours. It is your kingdom. Everything else is the kingdom of chance, of the universe, of others. And in that kingdom, you have no power. Peace is not found in absolute control of everything, but in absolute control of what is truly yours. To death as a reminder, not a fear. I know it sounds harsh, but listen carefully. Most of us live as if we were immortal, as if we had a renewable life contract. We put things off until tomorrow, postpone that call, that apology, that hug. We feel like we have all the time in the world, but the truth is that every day that passes is a day that won't return. Death is not the grim end of the road. It's the lighthouse that illuminates the path now. Don't see it as a threat, but as the purest reminder that every moment is a gift. It's the great equalizer. It doesn't ask anyone if they're rich or poor, handsome or ugly. It just comes. So, what will you do with your time? Will you let the fear of dying paralyze you? Or will you let the certainty that your time is limited motivate you to truly live? Death invites you to ask yourself, what is most important? It urges you to love without reservations, to speak without regrets, to let go of what doesn't matter, and to live today as if it were the only day. This principle is not meant to plunge you into sadness, but to awaken your sense of urgency and gratitude. Live today in such a way that, if it were your last, you would embrace it with a smile. This mental exercise is known as memento mori. Remember, you will die. It's not an invitation to melancholy, but to clarity. It helps you get rid of trivialities. You stop worrying about a stranger's opinion on the internet, the perfection of your house, or the drama of a TV show. Suddenly, small squabbles and superficial anxieties vanish. Who will care about this in a year, in 10, in a century? The brevity of life gives us a crucial perspective to discern what truly matters. When you integrate this reminder into your daily life, you stop taking the people you love for granted. Every I love you becomes more sincere, every hug warmer, every conversation deeper. The fear of death teaches you to live. It frees you from the tyranny of tomorrow and gives you the present. It's a reminder that your life is not infinite, but your capacity to love, to create, to forgive is in this moment. 3. The premeditation of evils, premeditatio malorum. This principle is like a mental workout for life. It's not about being pessimistic, but about being realistic. Stoicism asks us to sit down quietly and imagine, for a moment, that things go wrong. What if you lose your job? What would you do if that relationship you love so much ends? How would you feel if your health failed? This isn't so you can sink into fear, but so you can prepare. Life surprises us, but if we have already thought about the possibility of the surprise, the blow is much less painful. It's like a skydiver who checks their equipment over and over again, not because they expect it to fail, but so that if it does, they're prepared. The premeditation of evils takes away the power of surprise and gives us the power of preparation. It allows us to see that we are stronger than we think. It reveals to us that, even in darkness, there is a light. When you imagine losing everything, you often realize that what really matters is the only thing you cannot lose: your character, your resilience, your ability to get back up. Anticipating the worst teaches us to appreciate the best. It takes away the fear of uncertainty and gives us the strength to face it. It's the mental equivalent of having insurance. You don't buy fire insurance because you want your house to burn down, but so that if it does, you don't lose everything. In the same way, by anticipating life's potential blows, you're not inviting misfortune. You're building a mental insurance policy. You're reaffirming that no matter what happens, your core, your essence, your inner strength remains intact. You're practicing resilience in the safety of your mind. This exercise also helps you appreciate what you have right now. When you imagine you could lose your job, suddenly, you appreciate the one you have more. When you think about the possibility of losing a loved one, every moment with that person becomes more precious. The premeditation of evils is not a source of anxiety, but of gratitude. It makes you aware of life's fragility and drives you to live with more intensity and appreciation. You don't prepare for failure, you prepare for life. Point 4. The value of the present moment. Our mind is a faulty time machine. It spends most of the day traveling to the past, reliving mistakes and regrets, or flying to the future, worrying about scenarios that will likely never happen. And while our mind is on a fantastic trip, real life is happening. This moment, the one you have now, the breath you just took, the light coming through the window, the sound around you. Life is not yesterday or tomorrow. Life is this second. The Stoics understood this in a profound way. They invite us to anchor our mind in the now, to pay attention, to feel the hot coffee in our hands, to truly listen to the person speaking to us, to walk, being aware of every step. The past no longer exists. It is only a memory. The future doesn't exist either. It is only a possibility. Suffering is born from dragging the weight of the past and the fear of the future. By focusing on the now, you free yourself from those chains. You realize that most of your worries don't exist in this moment, only in your imagination. The power of this principle lies in the simplicity of gratitude for the present. The only moment you truly have is this one. Use it. Anxiety is the suffering of the future. Depression is the suffering of the past. By focusing on the present, you free yourself from both. It's an anchor. Imagine your mind is a boat adrift in an ocean of memories and fears. The present moment is the shore. By anchoring yourself to it, you stop being swept away by the currents and regain control. You cannot change what has already been or predict what will be, but you can choose how you live this instant. This principle is the basis of mindfulness. It's the act of being completely present in whatever you're doing. If you're eating, just eat. If you're working, just work. If you're listening, just listen. Don't let your mind escape. Practicing this teaches you to savor life in small doses, to find beauty in the ordinary. Peace is not in escaping the present moment, but in fully immersing yourself in it. 5. Stoic indifference to external things. Adiaphora. Imagine you've been given a role in a play. It could be a lead role or a small one. Stoicism tells you that your role, the title, the set, the clothes you wear, all of that is indifferent. What matters is how you perform your role, your virtue, your character, your integrity, your excellence. Those are the only things that have intrinsic value. External things, money, fame, health, beauty, are what the Stoics called indifference. It's not that they don't matter at all, it's that their value doesn't depend on them, but on how you use them. A fortune can be used to do good or to corrupt. Good health can be used to help others or to be selfish. Don't cling to these things as if they were the most important thing in life, because they are fragile and can disappear in an instant. Attachment to external things is an endless source of suffering. If you base your happiness on having a job or a house or a car, you will be in a constant state of anxiety about losing them. True peace comes from knowing that your value is not in what you have, but in who you are. The wise person doesn't seek applause, but the approval of their own conscience. Happiness that depends on external things is borrowed happiness. It's like building your house on sand. One day, a wave can wash it away, but the happiness that resides within you, in your virtue, and in your character, is like a house built on rock. It is immovable, unbreakable. Stoics didn't despise material things. They saw them for what they are, tools. A hammer is a tool. Its value is not in the hammer itself, but in how you use it. And you are the carpenter. Your happiness doesn't depend on having a hammer, but on being a good carpenter. This principle frees you from comparison. You stop looking at your neighbor's house, your friend's car, your colleague's success. You know that their happiness is not yours. Yours resides in the only place it needs to be, within you. It teaches you to be a calm spectator of life, enjoying the good things when they are there, but without suffering when they are gone, because you know that what truly matters, what makes you you, cannot be touched by the hands of chance. 6. The importance of evening reflection. Before you go to sleep, what do? Do you watch TV? Do you collapse from exhaustion? Stoicism invites us to a much more powerful ritual, evening reflection. Take a few minutes, just before closing your eyes, to take an inventory of your day. Review your actions, your words, your thoughts. Was I kind to that person? Did I act with integrity in that situation? Did I let myself be carried away by anger or resentment? This is not an exercise in self-flagellation, but in self-knowledge. It's a time to applaud yourself for the things you did well, to forgive yourself for mistakes, and to learn from them. It's like closing a book and preparing for the next chapter with more wisdom. Evening reflection allows you to process the day, let go of what has passed, and prepare for tomorrow with a clear mind and a renewed purpose. It is a shield against regret and a sword to sharpen your character. The person who examines themselves every night becomes their own teacher. This ritual turns you into an observer of yourself. You hold up a mirror and, with honesty and without judgment, you look. Maybe you see that you were impatient. Instead of blaming yourself, you can say, "Tomorrow I'll be more patient." Maybe you see that you were generous. You can feel a small sense of pride about that. This practice gives you the power of continuous improvement. Every night, you give yourself the opportunity to recalibrate your moral compass. You ensure that the path you are walking is the path you want to walk. Sleep is a reset, but reflection is the preparation for a better reset. The mind that has taken its inventory goes to bed in peace. There are no pending matters, no regrets floating in the darkness. Simply, one day has ended, and the one that is coming will be a better day. Evening reflection is not just a habit. It is a way of honoring your life and committing to your growth. 7. Virtue is the only true good. Imagine that everything is taken away from you. Your house, your money, your friends, your reputation. What's left? According to the Stoics, the only thing you have left is the only thing that truly matters, your virtue. Virtue isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest, brave, just, and wise in every action. It's your ability to be a good person, no matter what is happening to you. For the Stoic, suffering doesn't come from a lack of external things, but from a lack of virtue. If you act with kindness and generosity, your conscience will be at peace. If you act with justice, you will have nothing to regret. If you act with wisdom, you will make the best decisions. Virtue is the only fortress that no one can take away from you. It is your true home. A person with virtue is rich, even if they have nothing. A person without virtue is poor, even if they have all the gold in the world. True happiness is not in what you possess, but in who you are. Virtue is your immutable superpower. If someone insults you, your virtue allows you to remain calm and not respond with anger. If you lose your job, your virtue gives you the strength to face the situation with courage. If you are betrayed, your virtue guides you to act with justice, not revenge. Virtue is the armor that protects you from the malice of the world and the storms of life. It gives you a solid foundation upon which you can build a meaningful life. When you make a decision, ask yourself, am I acting with virtue? Don't ask yourself, Will this give me money? Or will this make me popular? Ask yourself if you are being an honest, brave, and wise person. By aligning your actions with your deepest principles, you find a peace that money and power can never give you, because the greatest good is not in the things you can get, but in the person you can become. 8. Seeing obstacles as opportunities. Life is going to put obstacles in your way. That's a fact. A door closes, a project fails, a person betrays you. Most of us see obstacles as a wall. They stop us, discourage us, and make us suffer. Stoicism teaches us a radically different lesson. The obstacle is the way. Every problem is an opportunity in disguise. Failure is a lesson. Criticism is a chance to improve. Pain is an opportunity to strengthen your character. Can you imagine if instead of complaining about a problem, you asked yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I use this to become stronger, wiser, more compassionate? The obstacle is not a wall. It's a springboard. It's the resistance you need to strengthen your muscles. The stone you trip on can be the same one you use to build the next step of your ladder. Don't avoid problems, embrace them. Don't suffer because of them, use them. Imagine an athlete. When they train, they don't complain about resistance. They don't get angry with the weight they have to lift. They know that resistance is what makes their muscles grow, what makes them stronger. Life's obstacles are the mental equivalent of that weight. A failure at work is not a punishment. It's an exercise for your resilience. A broken heart is not the end. It's an opportunity to learn to love in a wiser and deeper way. Obstacles are not there to stop you. They are there to train you. This principle turns you into a life alchemist. You take the lead of difficulty and transform it into the gold of wisdom. It helps you stop being a victim of circumstances and become the architect of your own character. Stoicism invites you to seek out challenges, not to be afraid of them, because you know that in each one there is an opportunity for growth. 9. The power of silence and meditation. Our mind is a noisy place, a cacophony of worries, fears, judgments, and desires. The noise of the mind is one of the greatest sources of suffering. The Stoics knew this. They invited us to practice silence, not just of the mouth, but of the mind. Take some time each day to be in silence, to sit, breathe, and simply watch your thoughts pass without clinging to them. It's like being a spectator in a play. You are not the actor, nor the screenwriter. You just watch. Observe anger, fear, and anxiety, like clouds passing through the sky. Don't try to push them away or stop them. Just observe them and let them go. Meditation is not an escape from reality. It is an anchor to it. It is the act of calming the storm so you can hear your own voice, the voice of reason. Silence teaches you that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And in that space between the thought and the observer, true peace resides. In our society, silence is often seen as uncomfortable. We fill every moment with noise, music, podcasts, news. But by doing so, we are silencing the only voice that truly matters, our own. Silence is the control room of your mind. It's where you can turn off the noise of the world and tune into the station of serenity. It allows you to see your thoughts without identifying with them. It teaches you that fear is just a story your mind is telling, but it is not reality. Stoic meditation is a practice of self-observation. It's not about emptying your mind, but about organizing it. It's an act of healing. It gives you a healthy distance from your emotions, fears, and desires. It allows you to act with reason, instead of reacting with emotion. Silence is the gym where you train calmness, and calmness is the foundation of all wisdom and virtue. 10. Amor fati, loving your destiny. This is one of the deepest and most difficult principles to embrace. Amor fati, loving your destiny. Not just accepting what happens, but loving it. Seeing every event, every joy, and every sorrow as a necessary piece in the great tapestry of your life. Life is not happening to you. Life is happening for you. Every challenge, every loss, every triumph is shaping you. It's turning you into the person you are meant to be. Instead of saying, "What bad luck that this happened to me," the Stoic view is to say, "This happened to me, and now, what can I learn from it? How can I use it to grow?" Loving your destiny is not an act of resignation, but of empowerment. It is saying, "I take what life gives me and I turn it into gold." It is about stopping the fight against what is and starting to use what is. The sun does not complain about the clouds. The river does not complain about the rocks. They just flow. Flow with life, with everything it gives you. Love your story, because it's the only one you have. Amor fati is one of the keys to freedom. Suffering arises when you fight against reality. We wish things were different, that the past was different, that the future wasn't so uncertain. But in doing so, we are tying ourselves to a fantasy. Amor fati frees you from that fantasy. It anchors you in the only place where you can be happy, in the reality of this moment. It teaches you that every experience, even the painful ones, has a purpose. It's a necessary ingredient for your growth. When you embrace this principle, you stop being a victim of destiny and become its ally. The pain of a loss becomes the strength to move forward. A failure becomes the fuel to try again. Amor Fati is the art of finding beauty in the imperfect, the lesson in difficulty, and peace in acceptance. Don't resign yourself, don't give up. Just love. 11. The dependency on judgment, not the event. This is a fundamental pillar. Suffering does not come from the events themselves, but from the judgments we make about them. Someone insults you. The insult itself is just a word. Your suffering comes from your judgment. How unfair. I don't deserve this. Someone criticizes you. The criticism itself is just an opinion. Your suffering comes from your judgment. I have to be perfect. Do you see? The event is neutral. It is your judgment that gives it meaning. If you can learn to separate the event from the judgment, the suffering vanishes. You cannot control what others say or do, but you can control how you respond. You can say, "This is that person's opinion. It doesn't define who I am." Stoicism teaches you to be a guardian of your mind's gate, to not let negative judgments enter without being examined. It invites you to ask yourself, is this judgment true? Is it useful? Does it help me live a more serene life? Freedom is not in avoiding events, but in stopping suffering because of them. Imagine you are at the beach and a wave hits you. The event is the hit. The suffering would come if you thought, "What a wicked wave. It has ruined my day." But if you just think, "A wave hit me," the event is just that, an event. It doesn't have the emotional baggage that you give it. The same goes for life. A traffic jam, a criticism, a loss. These are neutral events. It's the judgment "this is terrible" that generates suffering. The Stoic knows that suffering is a choice, and they choose not to suffer. This principle gives you a superpower, the ability to respond instead of reacting. When a negative judgment tries to sneak into your mind, you can stop it and examine it. Is this really a problem? Or is my mind just turning it into one? By taking this pause, you regain control. You stop being a slave to your emotions and become the master of your mind. It is an act of personal sovereignty. 12. The wisdom of human relationships. Relationships with others are one of the greatest sources of joy, but also of pain. How can we be Stoics in our relationships? First, remember that you cannot control others. You cannot change your partner, your child, your friend. You can love them, you can support them, but you cannot force them to be what you want them to be. A great deal of frustration comes from wanting others to act in a certain way. Free yourself from that burden. Instead, focus on your part of the relationship. Be a good friend, a good parent, a good partner. Control your own kindness, your generosity, your ability to listen. Second, remember impermanence. People come and go from our lives, sometimes by choice, sometimes by force of circumstance. Do not cling to people as if they were a possession. Love them deeply, but with the awareness that their presence is not guaranteed. This will help you to value every moment with them and to suffer less if one day they are no longer there. Treat people as if they were going to die tomorrow, because in a philosophical sense, they are. Suffering in relationships often comes from unmet expectations. You expect your partner to behave in a certain way, your child to obey you, your friend to always be there for you. But expectations are ghosts. They are not real. The Stoic knows that the only person they can control is themselves. They focus on being the best version of themselves in the relationship, on being a beacon of virtue, on giving love without expecting anything in return. And in that act of giving, they find a peace that dependency can never offer. This principle invites you to a more mature and serene way of loving. You don't cling with claws, but you love with open hands, open to give and open to let go when necessary. It teaches you to enjoy the company of others, but not to depend on it for your happiness, because your happiness, the true kind, does not reside in the presence of another, but in your own capacity to love. 13. The recognition of universal reason. This is a profound concept. The Stoics believe that the universe is governed by a force, a logos or universal reason, and that we, as human beings, share a part of that reason. We are connected. That is why Stoicism is not a selfish philosophy. It's not just for your own benefit. Stoicism invites us to live in harmony with nature and with others. It teaches us that the good of the community is as important as the individual good. If a friend suffers, their suffering is an opportunity for you to practice compassion. If a stranger asks for your help, it is an opportunity for you to practice generosity. Understanding that we are part of a greater whole frees us from the prison of the ego. It gives us a sense of purpose that goes beyond our small desires. Your individual good is intertwined with the good of humanity. Act as if you were part of a great body, because you are. This principle gives you a broader perspective. It takes you out of the prison of your own head and connects you with the world. When you see someone suffer, it's no longer just their problem. It's our problem. This is not a burden. It is a source of meaning. It gives you a reason to be kind, to be just, to be useful. It helps you understand that your happiness is not a lonely destination, but a shared journey. The kindness you give to the world is a kindness you give to yourself, because you are part of that world. Universal reason invites you to see life as a great symphony, and you are not the conductor or the main soloist. You are an instrument in the orchestra, and your role is not to stand out, but to play your part as well as you can so that the symphony sounds harmonious. The good of the symphony is the good of all who are in it. Live with that awareness. 14. The practice of prohibiting anger. Anger is one of the most destructive emotions. It's like a poison you drink yourself, hoping it will kill the other person. It's a fire that burns you from the inside. The Stoics knew this and feared it. They offer us a powerful tool, the prohibition of anger. It's not about suppressing it, but about disarming it before it takes control. Anger is not a spontaneous emotion. It is a response to a judgment. That person disrespected me. Your judgment is what generates the anger. The key is to pause. When you feel anger starting to rise, stop, breathe, and ask yourself, is this judgment true? What do I gain by getting angry? Often, anger changes nothing. It just makes you feel worse. Anger is a prison. Freedom is choosing not to enter it. Practice patience and empathy. Understand that the other person is also fighting their own battle. And if you can't understand them, at least don't let their poison you. The wise person is not the one who never gets angry, but the one who knows how to put out the fire before it consumes them. Anger is a luxury that the Stoic cannot afford. It is a waste of energy and control. It is a chain that binds you to the person or situation that made you angry. By renouncing anger, you free yourself. You realize that the most powerful response to an injustice is not anger, but calm and rational action. Anger blinds you. Reason guides you. Instead of reacting with rage, you can choose to respond with wisdom. This principle is an exercise in power. The power not to let anyone control your emotions. It is one of the highest forms of personal freedom. The next time you feel the heat of anger, don't let it in. Observe the emotion. Don't judge yourself for feeling it, but don't let it take the helm. Remember that calmness is not weakness. It is the greatest of strengths. 15. The simplicity of life. In a world that bombards us with the idea that happiness is found in what we possess, this principle is an antidote. Stoic simplicity is not about living in poverty, but about living with the essentials. It is understanding that true wealth is not in having many things, but in desiring few. Everything you own is a weight. A car, a house, a new phone, designer clothes. All these things demand your time, your money, your energy, your worry. If your happiness depends on accumulating things, you will be in an endless race. There will always be something else to desire, and when you lose something, the suffering will be double. Simplicity frees you. It gives you time and energy for what really matters: relationships, wisdom, virtue. It is the act of asking yourself, do I really need this? Simplicity teaches you to find joy in the small things, in the sun that warms you, in a good conversation, in a walk in nature. Peace cannot be bought. It is found in the calmness of a heart that desires nothing. Simplicity is a shield against dissatisfaction. Most of us live in a state of I'll have to buy this, I'll have to fix that, I'll have to get the other thing. And while we drown in I'll have to, life passes us by. Simplicity is an I already have a roof over my head. I already have enough to eat. I already have people who love me. And suddenly, the world is filled with joy. The luxury of simplicity is time, freedom, and peace. This principle invites you to a detox. Not from food, but from things, from desires, from attachments. It encourages you to empty your life of everything that is not essential so you can fill it with what is. You stop being a consumer and become a human being. Simplicity does not make you poor. It enriches you with the things that cannot be bought. 16. The positive internal dialogue. How do you talk to yourself? Do you criticize yourself? Do you judge yourself harshly? Do you call yourself a fool for making a mistake? Our inner voice is the most important conversation we have. The Stoics knew that the way we talk to ourselves determines our happiness. Practice a positive internal dialogue. Talk to yourself as you would talk to a friend who is suffering, with compassion, with patience, with encouragement. Instead of saying to yourself, I'm a failure, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Instead of "I'll never succeed," say, "I'm going to try. And if it doesn't work, I'll try another way." Your mind is your garden. Don't let the voice of criticism plant weeds. Plant words of love, acceptance, and resilience. You are your own refuge. Cultivate a dialogue that strengthens you, not one that weakens you. Peace doesn't come from outside, but from the kindness you offer to yourself. Your internal dialogue is the script of your life. If that script is full of negativity, criticism, and fear, your life will reflect that. But if the script is one of kindness, resilience, and forgiveness, your life will become a reflection of it. You cannot control the thoughts that arise, but you can control how you respond to them. You can be the friend, the mentor, the guide to your own mind. This principle teaches you that suffering often comes from the war we wage against ourselves. Peace begins when you sign a peace treaty with your own mind. By speaking to yourself with kindness, you create a safe space within you, a refuge where you can recharge your energy, forgive yourself, and get back up again. Self-love is not selfishness. It is the foundation of a stoic and serene life. 17. Radical sincerity and honesty. A lie, even a small lie, is a weight. A secret you keep, a truth you hide, consumes you from the inside. Radical honesty is one of the most liberating principles of Stoicism. Be honest with yourself first. Acknowledge your mistakes, your fears, your weaknesses, without judgment. Just observe them. The truth is not an enemy. It is your compass. Second, be honest with others. Speak the truth. Say what you think, what you feel, with kindness, but with sincerity. This doesn't mean you should be hurtful, but it does mean you shouldn't live with masks. Living a life of deception is living in a mental prison. Sincerity is a form of respect for yourself and for others. It frees you from the fear of being discovered, from the weight of the lie. The truth will set you free, not only from others, but from yourself. Honesty is a form of coherence. The Stoic seeks to align their words with their actions, their thoughts with their reality. A lie creates a crack in that coherence, and through that crack, suffering creeps in. The fear of being found out, shame, remorse. By being radically honest, you free yourself from all that weight. You have nothing to hide. You are who you are, with your virtues and your flaws. This principle invites you to live a life with total transparency. It is an act of courage. It requires you to accept your imperfections and those of others. The truth, although sometimes uncomfortable, is the most direct path to peace. It frees you from the need to pretend and allows you to be simply you. 18. The awareness of impermanence. Everything changes. You change, people change, situations change. Nothing is permanent. We get attached to things, to people, to stages of life, and when they are gone, we suffer. Stoicism invites us to embrace impermanence. It's like sand on the beach. You can enjoy the sand, you can feel it between your fingers, but you can't hold on to it. Understand that pleasure is fleeting, and so is pain, that every stage of life has its beauty. And if you try to cling to one, you will miss the next. Learn to let go. When you love someone, do so with the awareness that their presence is a gift. When you enjoy a good moment, do so knowing that it is a precious instant. Impermanence is not a tragedy, it is a driving force. It is what makes every moment so valuable. Flow with the river of life, don't try to stop it. Suffering from impermanence is called attachment. It's the desire for things to remain as they are. But life, by nature, is a river in constant motion. The Stoic knows that fighting against that river is a losing battle. Instead, they learn to swim with the current. They enjoy the scenery as they pass, but they don't try to build a house in the middle of the river. By embracing impermanence, you stop living with the fear of loss. Instead, you live with the gratitude of having had. This principle gives you a refreshing perspective. It invites you to savor every moment, not to put off that "I love you" until tomorrow, not to take the people you love for granted, to live with a sense of positive urgency, because you know that everything has a beginning and an end, and in that knowledge, a profound peace resides. 19. Stoicism as a continuous exercise. Being a Stoic is not a state you arrive at. It is a path you walk. It's a daily exercise. It's like going to the gym. You don't go once and become strong forever. You have to go constantly. Every morning when you wake up, you have the opportunity to practice controlling your judgments. Every time you feel anger taking over, you have the opportunity to practice patience. Every time you face an obstacle, you have the opportunity to practice resilience. Don't judge yourself for your mistakes. Learn from them. Start over. Stoicism does not ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be consistent. True strength is not in not falling, but in getting up every time you fall. This is a lifelong journey, a journey towards inner peace. This principle frees you from the pressure to be perfect. You don't have to become a sage overnight. You don't have to be a Stoic master at every moment. You just have to be a student, and students make mistakes. Stoicism gives you permission to be human. It tells you that the value is not in infallibility, but in persistence. The constant, albeit imperfect, practice is what strengthens you. Every day is a new opportunity. It doesn't matter how bad the previous day was. Tomorrow, the sun will rise again and the practice will begin anew. This principle is the foundation of all personal improvement. It is the reminder that growth is not a destination, it is a process, and in that process, you will find true peace. 20. Harmony with nature. In the end, Stoicism invites us to find peace and harmony with nature, not in the sense of living in the forest, but in the sense of accepting that we are part of a greater whole. Nature has its cycles. There are seasons of growth and decay. Life has its cycles. There are moments of joy and of pain. Accepting these cycles, without fighting against them, is the basis of serenity. Nature does not complain about the storm. It does not get anxious about winter. It simply is. Stoicism invites you to live in the natural flow of life, accepting the ups and downs as part of the journey, to find your place in the universe, to recognize that, in the end, everything is okay. Nature is the greatest Stoic teacher. A tree does not fight against the wind, it bends. And when the storm passes, it stands up again. Stoicism teaches you to be like that tree, to be flexible, not to break, to flow with life instead of resisting it. Suffering comes from fighting against reality. Peace comes from accepting it and finding your place within it. This principle gives you a deep sense of connection and belonging. It takes you out of the isolation of the ego and connects you to the rhythm of the universe. You are no longer alone. You are part of something bigger. And in that connection, the peace resides that is unbreakable, because you know that, despite the storms, nature always finds its balance, and you will too. So, take one more deep breath. We have walked a path. We have planted 20 seeds of wisdom in the garden of your mind. I'm not asking you to remember them all. I'm just asking you to take one, the one that resonates most with you, and practice it today, and tomorrow, and the day after. Unnecessary suffering is not a destination, it is a choice. And today, you have chosen peace. You have chosen serenity. You have chosen the path of wisdom. And now, it is time to walk. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Peace is within you. You just have to listen to it.